Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.
Welcome to Beyond the Badge, a program about the inner workings of the Edina Police and Fire Departments. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sergeant Brian Hubbard. The City of Edina is now even better prepared in the event of a natural disaster. When such an incident strikes, one of the biggest obstacles to an effective response is a breakdown in communication among federal, state, and local agencies. In order to remedy this potential shortcoming, the Minnesota Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 1, which includes some members of the Edina Fire-Rescue Inspections Department, checks its emergency preparedness alongside multiple military and government agencies in a testing environment dubbed Disaster City. Edina 16's Scott Thiry traveled to Camp Ripley in Little Falls, Minnesota for the story.
120 miles away from Edina, or 193 clicks, lays Camp Ripley, a 53,000-acre regional training facility used by both military and civilians.
The disaster emergency would be housed at the University of Minnesota, where there's a sinkhole. Numerous buildings have collapsed into the sinkhole. One of those buildings was a research laboratory which housed mustard gas. Focus on breathing, focus on breathing.
Our primary focus is looking at these structures from a collapse standpoint, going in, rescuing victims, breaching and breaking, shoring up the buildings, doing typical urban search and rescue type activities.
To create a more realistic environment for the responders, pre-recorded screams and crying can be heard playing throughout the buildings.
The groups are working together very well.
Get off with them.
They're moving through the problems. We have a lot of very intense scenarios set up for them.
Dock over.
It drives home the importance of having good, solid planning so we're ready at any moment. That's, I think, one thing that the team has definitely learned. I have learned, making sure that we're supporting the team so they're as best prepared and as well planned and ready to go out the door at a moment's notice.
Although rare in Edina, hazardous storms and disasters can happen anywhere at any moment.
This isn't something that we do all the time. It's a very low frequency event, but it's very high in danger. So anytime that we can come up here and simulate that buildings have been collapsed and then we can work on those, that benefits everybody. It benefits every citizen of Edina, it benefits every citizen of the state, but more importantly, it benefits our firefighters to keep them safe when they're actually down at a disaster and working in some pretty hazardous conditions.
They're keeping track of where everybody's at.
I'm getting an opportunity to work with the military. I've never done that. I was not in the military, so I'm working with colonels and generals and from sergeants all the way up. In a real disaster, we are going to lean, anybody's going to lean on the National Guard, and I'm learning their infrastructure and their command structure, and it's been invaluable to me personally.
From Camp Ripley, I'm Scott Thiry, Edina 16.
Sponsored by the National Guard, Vigilant Guard 15 is a training exercise 3 years in the making. More than 1,000 responders participated in the specialized training, while over 100 people volunteered as victims in need of emergency response.